Inanna was the goddess of love and war. Sumerians liked when their gods held more than one domain at once, and she was convinced there were no doors closed to her. No god had ever told her no. No man had ever told her no. So one day, she walked down into the underworld to visit her own sister, and ended up a corpse on a hook against the wall. Stay with me. This is the oldest story about coming back from death, and it's older than anyone I've ever told you about on this channel. I knew Inanna, or Ishtar, depending on which century you asked, back when the Sumerian civilization was still young, before the Greeks, before the Egyptians. That entire civilization had already crumbled into dust before Homer was even born. Her older sister, Ereshkigal, lived below, in Kur. She had been queen down there for a very long time. The relationship between the two sisters wasn't the kind you can fix over a family dinner. In the texts, there isn't a single warm word between them, just an old, quiet tension that nobody fully explains or understands. At the peak of her power, Inanna decided to go down to her sister, maybe to mourn Ereshkigal's husband. He had just died, maybe just because she could. I asked her about it later. She just shrugged, didn't answer. At the gates of Kur, a guard was waiting. He let her in, with a condition. 7 gates ahead, and at each one, she had to leave something behind. At the first, her crown. At the second, a lapis lazuli necklace. The third, her belt. The fourth, her breastplate. The fifth, a golden bracelet. The sixth, the measuring rod and line, the symbols of her authority. And at the seventh, her gown. When she walked into Ereshkigal's throne room, she was naked. No power, no name, just a woman who had shown up uninvited at the house of a sister she hadn't spoken to in a long time. Ereshkigal looked at her, once, and Inanna became a corpse on a hook against the wall, hanging there for 3 days and 3 nights. Inanna's servant, Ninshubur, had been given instructions ahead of time. If she didn't come back within a certain window, go to the gods, ask for help. So Ninshubur went. Most of the gods said it wasn't their business, that Inanna had brought it on herself. Only Enki, the god of wisdom, said nothing at first. He was sitting quietly, cleaning the dirt from under his fingernails. And from that dirt, he shaped 2 tiny creatures, not gods, not humans, something in between. He sent them down into the underworld. These 2 didn't try to storm Kur. They sat down next to Ereshkigal, who was moaning eternally in some kind of permanent labor pain that just never ended down there. And they just repeated her every moan. When she groaned, they groaned with her. When she cried, they cried. It was so funny. I thought I was going to break in half. I didn't think it would ever end. For the first time in eternity, Ereshkigal felt that someone was actually hearing her. She offered the creatures a reward for their company. They asked for the corpse on the wall. And that's how Inanna came back to the living. But the law of Kur is older than the gods themselves. You can only leave that place if someone goes down in your stead. The Galla demons followed her up, cold, faceless. Their job? To bring someone back. They never return empty-handed, ever. Waiting at home was her husband, Dumuzi. He was sitting on her throne, playing the lyre. He hadn't grieved a single day, hadn't worn mourning a single night. While she had been hanging dead on a hook, he had been busy with his own affairs. The demons stood behind her. She pointed at her husband, and in a cold voice said one word, "Take." And they took him down into the underworld, in her place. Tell me in the comments, do you think Dumuzi deserved it? I have my opinion. Sisyphus last time cheated death twice. Inanna paid with someone else's blood. But next time, I'll show you a god who did everything right, walked down into hell for his own brother, did everything hell asked of him, and still lost. Because of one old giantess who, with a single word, left the most beautiful god in all of Scandinavia in the land of the dead, forever. Baldr, Hermod, and a word that I, even now, 1,000 years later, still cannot forgive. I was there for that one too.